It's time for Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather, sponsored by John's Heating and Air, Command Family Medicine, and Taylor Grubaugh Chevrolet. Here's your host, meteorologist Abby Dyer.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to your Monday. It is April 7th, and I get to deliver some good news today after a rough weekend weather-wise in the Ozarks. It's cold this morning. Of course, you know we have that freeze warning as we wake up early on today, and temperatures are indeed below the freezing point. So if you already had the flowers out or any sensitive vegetation, I hope you were able to cover it up last night. It's too late for that in some places as temperatures are starting out in the upper 20s. Cold to start, but the good news I get to deliver is that it's a dry day in the Ozarks, and we need that desperately after all the rain that fell over the weekend. Incredible rainfall totals. I know you've seen some of the images of flooding from around the Ozarks. As expected, it was those southeastern counties that really took a hard hit, and now rivers, streams, and area waterways are up. We are going to see some of that water flowing today. I know there's still a lot of residual flooding left around, so do be mindful of that today. We also are going to hold on to some aerial flood warnings, meaning that the ground is saturated, and we're just going to hold the water for a couple of days. I do expect the dry time in the forecast this week is going to help. We need the dry time more than ever, and we are going to get it. We have another freeze watch tonight, though, so it is going to be a chilly forecast for April. We've got another frontal boundary heading in, and that is going to lead to temperatures that are going to fall back into the low 30s and upper 20s again overnight tonight. So if you covered up the plans last night, do it again tonight. We will see dry skies in the forecast today, as well as a lot of sunshine. I have high temperatures that are going to climb to near 60 degrees. It's going to be a frosty start with temperatures below freezing this morning, so you may want a winter coat early on. It's one of those days, though, that you may want to bring a winter coat for the morning. Light jacket's going to be just fine in the afternoon, as high temperatures will top out near 60 degrees. There will be a breeze, so we're feeling like the 50s today when you factor in the wind chill. We have breezy conditions, a northwest wind still in place on the backside of our very powerful storm system that brought all the active weather, the severe storms, the flooding, and yes, even the snowflakes in the Ozarks yesterday. We've got that next freeze watch in effect for you tonight, but the good news is that most of the work week forecast is going to be quite nice. We have lots of dry days ahead this week. Not a 0% chance of rain. I think there is going to be a chance for some rain and maybe even some thunderstorm activity again by Thursday, but we're dry today, tomorrow, and on Wednesday, and that should help to allow us some time to get the soil to absorb some of the water in some places. High temperature today in Springfield, I think 60 degrees. It could be a few degrees warmer than that in a few locations. We'll fall back to near or just below the freezing point again for Tuesday morning. More sunshine on Tuesday and a nicer day ahead with 65 degrees in the forecast. Then I think by Wednesday, the 70s are back, and it looks like a nice dry and warmer than average stretch. When I look at some of the long range charts, the let's say April 10th to 15th, well, it's looking above average as we get closer to the Easter holiday. We've got temperatures that are likely going to be running a bit above average with this drier pattern. So we are going to look forward to the dry, nice spring-like days in the forecast. Around the country, lots making headlines. Of course, we were not the only ones with severe weather and extreme flooding over the weekend. So the national news headlines still covering some of those flooding threats across the country. There's a lingering concern for flooding for much of our area, as well as much of the Midwest. And we've got more severe weather in the forecast today for parts of the Southeast in the United States. So we're thinking about those folks and hoping the severe weather threat stays to a minimum. We also have unsettled weather for parts of the Pacific Northwest, and I'm expecting that we get a few quiet days for folks that were hit hard by rain and flooding. Not just us that needs the quiet weather. It's a big section of the country, and thankfully it looks like the middle part of the country is going to get a break here, at least for the first half of this work week forecast. All right, it's time for the Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather Brain Twister trivia question for the day. And the question that I left you with yesterday: what is the latest snowfall on record for Springfield? Latest meaning date. What's the latest date in the spring that we've had measurable snow in Springfield? And the options were A, April 1st, April Fool's Day. That would seem appropriate. B, April 4th. C, April 28th. Or D, May 3rd. And this was not long ago, if you remember it. Yes, snowfall in May, and a pretty big one, especially for May. May 3rd, 2013, we had 1.4 inches of snow here in Springfield. It was wacky. It was after Easter. I remember I was working this day and it was like, am I seriously forecasting measurable snowfall? Surely the ground is too warm. This is going to melt off. But no, it snowed. It didn't stay around long. It melted quickly and there wasn't a huge impact on roads. But yeah, it can happen. May 3rd. 2013. Congrats if that was your guess D, the option. All right, here's the question that I'll leave you with for tomorrow morning. In which country did the Easter Bunny originate? Where do you think that started? Do you think it's A, England, B, Germany, C, Ireland, or D, France? You can let me know your guess. That's at aroundtheozarks.com. I sure appreciate you starting out the new work week with me, and I thank our sponsors, John's Heating and Air, Command Family Medicine, and Taylor Grubaugh Chevrolet. Have a fantastic day. Still watch the roads while you're driving. There is going to be some flooding left around, especially southeast of Springfield. Otherwise, a dry day in the Ozarks, full sun, a northwest breeze at 5 to 15 miles an hour, and a high temperature in the low 60s. Have a great one. We'll chat tomorrow.